The AHCA has failed, but we're here today to show our continued support for healthcare for all, and that any changes to the law that are to be made should be made with that in mind. Obamacare is imperfect, but its goals of lowering costs by expanding coverage, by its emphasis on preventative care, and by its end of discrimination for things like pre-existing conditions are good. The debate over the AHCA shows that the American people are not willing to let those things be taken away. We're here today to continue that fight.
Yes.
Yeah. Cutting funding for low-income Americans or those with serious health conditions to fund a tax cut for the wealthy is just unacceptable. Therefore, we march. We march for our friends, our families, our co-workers, our patients. We march for our communities because we demand better.
Yes.
We demand that no one loses coverage due to any changes in laws. We demand that no further moves are made to weaken the ACA.
Yes.
We demand that no one loses access to Medicaid or Medicare. We demand that those with pre-existing conditions get access to the same coverage as everybody else for the same rates.
Yes. Yay.
We demand no institution of yearly or lifetime coverage caps. And we demand that dependents can stay on their parents' insurance for until age 26. We demand that healthcare is free of discrimination in terms of race, age, sex, disability, gender identity, sexual orientation.
Yes.
And we demand that women receive the same coverage as men. As an OBGYN, I see firsthand what access to preventative coverage brings. I worry about my patients who could potentially lose coverage for contraception and the resulting unplanned pregnancies that can happen. I worry that my patients could potentially not be able to afford prenatal care. And I worry about patients skipping mammograms and pap smears and the resulting unseen cancers that don't get diagnosed. We are Pittsburgh, where Dr. Salk developed the polio vaccine, where Dr. Starzl was a pioneer in transplantation. With every advance in medicine, there is potential for disparities, and it's our duty to march today for equality for healthcare for all.
So, thank you guys so much for being here. I'm Mallory Chuckshaw, for anyone who wasn't here at the beginning. I'm a local primary care doctor. I was raised in Pittsburgh, and much like Nancy, I'm not a political animal. This is not something that either of us are used to doing, but as my first march, I'm not terribly comfortable in this setting, but I'm here because healthcare is important. At some point, medicine and healthcare became a partisan issue. But sickness isn't political, and pain isn't partisan. Some people say that healthcare is a right. Some people say that healthcare is an entitlement. To have a meaningful conversation that moves us all forward, we have to have a common language here. So today I offer that healthcare is a need. It's not a choice. Accessing healthcare is something we do when we're sick, in our weakest moments. It isn't a lofty philosophical principle. Everyone needs healthcare. Healthcare is getting a physical so you can get a job or drive a car. It's practical. It's getting a flu shot. It's talking to someone when your wife dies and you feel so alone. It's learning that you're pregnant with twins. It's a peace of mind that that mole is really just a mole. I've experienced healthcare as a patient, as a family member, and as a doctor. When I was a patient, I didn't want to go to the doctor. I needed to because my sister was being treated for leukemia, and she needed a bone marrow donor. So at 17, I was a match, and we hoped that the bone marrow transplant would be a cure. I didn't want to get poked. I didn't want to go to the doctor. I didn't want to have needles put in my arm, or spend my senior year of high school terrified about the outcome. But that's what we needed. Just a few weeks after my sister died later that summer, my father had a seizure in a McDonald's. He didn't want to go to the doctor, but an ambulance took him there. At the hospital, he was found to have a very rare brain tumor. He was treated at Hillman, and he recently relapsed. We found that out because he was getting MRIs every 6 months. That's an expensive test. His doctor caught it and treated it, and told us that as of today, he is functionally cured. Yeah, good. He doesn't want to go to the doctor. He goes there because he needs to. As a physician, I know that none of my patients want to see a doctor. They don't want to show up on their Tuesday at 9 a.m. for my vibrant conversation. That's not what they're there for. They need to see a doctor. Your diabetic grandma who ends up hospitalized and losing her foot because she couldn't afford routine medical visits or medications needed to see a doctor. A father with a clotting disorder who died from blood clots because he couldn't afford blood thinners and regular labs needs to see a doctor. His life depended on it. No one goes to the doctor because they want to. We all go to the doctor because we need it. Because getting medical help is a basic and inherent human need. Because cancer happens and high blood pressure happens, depression happens to all of us. As a society, we're trying to come together and figure this out. It's a hard problem, but we will do it. We will do it because of you. All of you who took today to stand up here and march in the freezing cold of Pittsburgh. You marched for your sisters and your dads and yourselves, and marching because we all need health care. Thank you so much for being here. And we're actually planning a series of happy hours, a series of events, and you can look us up on Pittsburghers for America. We have all of this stuff posted. We can get you on a mailing list. We can get you through Facebook. We would love to talk with you more about these issues and a lot of the other things that we're trying to tackle with like-minded people.